Hello, and thank you for joining us today on the Gentle Art of Crushing It show, where we focus on learning and sharing with our listeners all there is to know about how to create success in our lives. This show stands on the shoulders of giants. Our mission is to empower and inspire our listeners to create the life of their dreams whilst having a blast in the process. Let's celebrate life together. Welcome to the show. Today, we have the pleasure of sitting down and interviewing Sean Hurwitz. Sean is a multi talented musician, producer, and songwriter. Ever the consummate professional, his trademark attention to detail provides the perfect polish to any performance. Based in Los Angeles, California, Sean is an outstanding performer who has had the pleasure of co writing, producing, recording, playing, and touring the world with top echelon artists such as Enrique Iglesias, Smash Mouth, and Gin Blossoms, to name a few. Without any further ado, let's welcome Sean to the show. Hey, Sean, thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate your time and can't wait to dive into your story. Super exciting for me. And please just tell us a little bit about or a lot about yourself. It's completely up to you, your background, where and how you found success. And also please include something interesting about yourself that, most people wouldn't know.
So I'll give you the basics. First of all, thanks for having me. Um,
My pleasure.
I'm born and raised in Israel to American parents. This is why I sound like an American, not like an Israeli. I just spoke English at home my whole life and moved here to Los Angeles when I was 23 to be a rock star. It worked out. I mean, I've been very, very fortunate.
Amen.
Uh, but I guess it's worth mentioning that I started playing when I was 13-ish. Um, I got into sound engineering. I studied sound engineering when I was 17 and had been working at it since I was 17 until 23, until when I left and came here to be a full-time musician. I also did audio stuff here, and in my studio here, my audio education has definitely been good to me because I know how to work everything, and there are definitely people out there that know how to do it better than me, but I know how to do it very well and good enough for getting stuff on TV and film, which also brings up the fact that I have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of songs out there on TV and film. So if someone here is listening, you probably heard what I've done. You probably don't know it's me, but it's me.
Yeah.
Um, and that's it. What else?
Can I just interject something here real quick? So yeah, I was actually blown away as I took a look on your website, all the shows that you've been involved with, and I'm like, holy moly! You keep scrolling down, and it's show after show after show, which I really had no idea, And so, so it's amazing. Like that is sort of like this whole impossible realm that it's amazing to me, and I think to a lot of people, that are musicians. And so what's super amazing that you move out to, LA at age 23, and this is your goal and you pulled it off where, I think that most people, when they try that, whether it's to become an actor or musician or actress, what have you, I don't know what the failure rate is, but it's huge, right? So I love that. I also, it's unbelievable, really, and amazing. And I also wanted to say that, having your sound engineer skills to a level to where you can actually send this off to be, your finished product to be put in a television show. It is that's a lot of work, a lot of training. I record my own music, and the finished product is not very good. And I've been doing it for a long time and spent some time around it. So these two skills are, I would imagine you put a lot of time in energy into that, right?
Definitely the 10,000 hours, and
That's
then
what I was.
yeah,
Thank you. Yeah.
absolutely.
And the 10,000 hours thing is kind of like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of crazy. Seems like a lot of hours till you do the math and you figure out what if at 40 hours a week, it's like, I think 3 years or something like that. So, it's a lot of work. But anyway, sorry about that.
No, no, not at all. I appreciate the compliments and everything. Um, So what else do you want to know? The
Yeah, so maybe something interesting about yourself that where and how you found success, and
oh,
you pretty much went over that.
you know
But
what? Well, so for those of you who don't know who I am, so I played the LA scene for a long time. Got here in 2003. In 2000, I did a bunch of stuff, but in 2011, I joined the band Smash Mouth, and then in 2015, I joined the artist Enrique Iglesias for 4 years, and then I went back to Smash Mouth. So now I've been in Smash Mouth, back with Smash Mouth, I want to say since 2019, roughly.
okay,
And it's great, man. I love Enrique is great for what Enrique is. It's a huge production. You tour the world. I mean, buses all over the place. Just a huge production. Got to do my biggest show ever with him, 85,000 people. And
holy moly,
I
my
mean,
biggest show was
that's great.
400, so
It's almost as amazing, you know? And
unbelievable.
that's definitely not the size that we do with Smash Mouth, although I've done some huge shows with them. But that's
I
not
imagine.
the usual size we do with Smash Mouth. But because it's a '90s band, it's not necessarily current, but it's such an ingrained music in especially in the American culture that and it's such a rock show. You know, you and I were discussing this before. Enrique is very polished. It's an incredible show
Polished.
visually, sound wise, everything. It's just a masterpiece. But it's very finesse. Whereas Smash Mouth is more of rock. It's more raw. We go with the punches, and it's just such a rock show, you know. So those are my main two big things. But I also got a chance to play with a bunch of other people. Why not plug it? If you care to see more, just check out SeanHurwitz.com. Spell it any way you want. I'm sure I'll pop up. And then you can see more about me if you care to see.
And you could go, you've got a YouTube channel that is successful as well. I've been doing YouTube for a while, and man, it is tough. It's really tough. And so please go there and support that as well. That's, Sean Hurwitz as well, right?
Yeah, just I
And
think
I'll
it's,
link both of these in the
oh,
show
great.
notes.
Thank you.
Sorry.
Yeah, Sean Hurwitz music, I think it is there. Just like youtube.com/C for custom/Sean Hurwitz music. But again, if you just look up my name, or if you go to the website, there's a link there. And yeah, I did YouTube. My whole thing with YouTube was just, I haven't done it in a second, but we did hundreds of videos, and the idea was to really, I'm just trying to educate the next generation of musicians and next generation of entrepreneurs. That's what we're talking about, right?
Amen.
And
Yeah.
success stories. I'm just trying to give people something they should know. How to turn just noodling around on a guitar, if it's really something you want to, if something you're passionate about, how to turn it into a business. Because anything you want, if you want to do it as a lifestyle, if you want to do it for long term, for life, you need to know how to make money from it. So,
Amen.
and it's not, you don't necessarily have to, don't take business as a bad thing. You can
Hmm.
turn business into a wonderful, happy, positive environment and thrive in it. And that's what my videos are, more or less. Um, yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, yeah, and in business, you can set boundaries just like in real life. So you don't have to have a business that is, whatever you don't like about business, right? And I hear where you're coming from, the way that you're explaining it, especially to artists, because as myself, starving artist for years, looked at, sort of business and big business, especially in as like, uh, Satan or whatever, you know what I mean? It was
Yeah.
like, and it doesn't have to be that way. And I think what you're doing with to our audience, please go to Sean's website. It is a amazing website. It's beautiful. Your branding is dialed in, and I think also what you're doing is branding yourself, which is brilliant, because this will pay off over time in huge ways, I think, as well, as far as like passive and opportunities. Who knows?
Well, without going deep into the story, because time and whatnot, it already paid off, man. I got the Enrique gig because I had that website up. Simple. If I
It's
didn't have the
crazy.
website, I wouldn't have had the opportunity to. Without getting into the depth of the story,
Mhm.
that's it. I mean, it already paid off. I toured the world all over the weirdest places. I toured. I was in Lebanon as an Israeli. It's illegal for me to be in Lebanon. Like they wouldn't
Oh
let
my
me in.
God.
I was in Lebanon. I mean,
Holy moly.
I've been some crazy places. So the website already paid off. I could take it off right now, and it already paid off.
It'd be
But
worth it, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a good just kind of like landing page for people that might think of hiring me to see what I've done. There's a TV and film tab there where you can see a bunch of stuff. Definitely not all of it, but just a handful of things that I've done on TV and film. You can listen to the things, to the songs or the cues. And yeah, I appreciate that. It's a good place to be. But I was just gonna say it already paid off.
Yeah, love it. Yeah, sort of like a resume, but a heck of a lot better.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's just a really good thing to have out there for people. Like I said, a landing page for people,
Love it.
for
All right.
possible employers.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you asked something that
Yeah,
people might
maybe
know
something
about me.
about yourself, something interesting about yourself most people wouldn't know.
Yeah. Well, I've never had alcohol. I've
Love
never,
it.
yeah, I've never done any drugs. I've never had a cigarette. I've never had coffee.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
That may have no, that for sure played a huge role in you saying, I'm moving to LA, 23, going to become a rock star. And you did it, right? So that played a huge role. Guarantee it. For me, my backstory is I, got into playing in bands and in punk music when I was in high school. And
Where?
with my friends in Bay Area, California, I could send you some of my stuff,
Yeah.
super like nobody's ever heard of us for the most part. But my friends were my downfall. Instead of and just not saying no, that wreaked so much havoc in my life. Been clean and sober now for too long to admit, almost 20 years. And love it. I would never go back. Like I don't know what I was thinking, but I couldn't get out of it at the time. And I
Maybe.
had yeah, I had dreams. So I applaud you for that in a huge way. My wife would as well. I can't wait to tell her. But what I was going to say is, I did have dreams. I actually wanted to move to Hollywood and pursue acting or music, right? And I didn't, and it probably wouldn't have worked out anyways because I ended up partying maybe afterwards. But so huge applause to you for that.
No, I appreciate it, man. It certainly wasn't anything that I planned. I just went with my gut feelings about things. But on your point, or to your point, I every week I see someone on my Facebook, a friend or a colleague or some family member, usually not a family member, but that says, sober for 2 years, best thing I ever did. Or someone will put up, man, I decided not to drink for half a year. It's like the best thing I've ever done. And I'm just like, hey, man, I got lucky. I really, really got lucky. No one ever told me, don't drink. My father had some stuff. I mean, as Jews, the only thing I've ever had is little wine, like this much, because it's a Jewish thing.
Yeah.
We bring in Shabbat and everyone gets a tiny little bit of wine. As a kid, you're drinking, but I don't call that alcohol.
Right.
Um, Especially when you're drinking like 0.002 of an ounce. Yeah,
Right.
that's what I
Sort of
drink.
like drinking orange juice at that point or a kombucha.
Oh, dude, it could be great. It's grape juice at that point. I mean, but I
Yeah.
drink like this much. Like I'll just go. Yeah, no, it's not for me.
Yeah.
Um,
Love it.
so it is. I got lucky, man. I just followed my gut instinct, and but I did something that is very useful for this podcast. So I'll mention it. I was just reading a book. I'm gonna look it up real quick while I
Take
talk
your
to
time.
you. No, I'm gonna actually.
While you're looking that up, I wanted to say that I don't want to downplay the whole Smash Mouth thing because like what a dream come true. They when they first hit the scene, what would you say is 94, 95 when they first came out, somewhere around there?
I think so. I mean, I was still in
Israel
Israel.
at that point. Yeah,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah,
But
absolutely.
what they did is very, very unique. And not only is it unique, but it's very, very catchy, sort of like Green Day. It's like, oh, I can't get this hook out of my head. which is awesome. And they have like a cult following, and the cult following is not only with adults, but it's with children. Like, their songs are in Shrek. Like, my kids love
That's
Smash Mouth.
that's the beauty of it, man. When I go perform, I'm performing in front of 60-year-olds that are there with their grandchildren, as well as people that grew up in college and high school with Smash Mouth. It's just an American like iconic sound. All Star, I'm a believer. Well, I'm
Yeah,
a believer. Yeah, I mean, both in Shrek, um, Walking on the Sun. They
right.
have so many of them.
They got a
All-
great vibe to them, to their sound as well, and I think it makes me think of that movie Rat Race as well. It's
Yep. Oh,
that's a
but
great movie.
so I said I was going to bring it up. He brought it
Yes.
up in the. You know what? Let me look it up real quick. I'm listening to this dude's. I just started listening to his podcast because of the book. The name of the dude, come on, show up. His name is Brian Keane. And the name
Okay.
of the book is, let's see, Brian, he's a British dude. There we go, Brian. Rewire Your Mindset. I just finished it last night because I needed
Wow.
to kind of get a boost. And he mentions this, but what was I going to say? I was connecting it to the right. He says it in the book. You don't need to learn from your mistakes. You can learn from other people's mistakes. Not, you know what? Let's not even call mistakes. You don't have to learn from your experiences. You can learn from other people's experiences, whether good or bad, right? So I got lucky without reading that book and without realizing it at the time. That's how I work, right? So when I was 14, I'm hanging out with people and they're drinking and hanging out with the freaks and the punks. I mean, I had a mohawk and everything, and everyone's drinking, and I just was like, "Yeah, dude, I have zero interest in being that guy throwing up in the corner.
Yeah.
Like, I just have zero interest." The scent of alcohol and what people do when they're drunk is not alluring to me at all, especially when it ends
Ditto.
up like that. If it always ended up with, I don't know, hooking up with some chick, maybe I would be more into it. But
Right. Or
somehow,
finding a pot of gold or something. Yeah.
exactly. But it always ended up with someone just puking their guts up and feeling like dog shit. So excuse my French,
No,
right?
it's okay. Be yourself, man.
But yeah, it wasn't alluring to me. So I got lucky. I am a kind of person that learns from other people's successes and other people's mistakes. And that's why no drugs. Drugs are interesting to me. I would skip everything and just go straight for the psychedelics. But I've learned that some people, even that I know, have had bad experiences with that. Maybe I'll do that one day. Have never done it. I'm 42. I've never done it in my life.
Mhm.
And weed just never interested me. I mean, I
Uh,
just becoming addicted, even mentally, not physically, but mentally addicted to just even when every time with your friends, you just smoking weed. Yeah, man.
Trust me.
As someone that's been sober and whatnot for 20 years, you can understand what I'm saying, right?
I can. And on the marijuana point, not that this is like a dare meeting or whatever, but they say it's not addictive, but trust me, it is so addictive. And I just want to share like a quick story with you. I
Yeah.
had a friend growing up. Out of all of our friends, we were all skateboarders, right? We all took it pretty seriously and we're competitive. Out of all of my friends, he had, sponsorship at age like 14 and ads in Thrasher and that sort of thing. We all knew he was going to become pro until marijuana came into his life. Literally, he did really, really well, but just never pursued that dream. And he completely could have had a professional skateboarding career, and I spent years with them. I know exactly what the cause was, and it was that, so it's derailed so many people, including myself. It doesn't mean that my dreams are over. It doesn't mean that if you're derailed right now, you can't get back on track and make your dreams come true, because that you totally can, so
Look, let me be honest with your audience. Right now, we're recording this January 2022. I have been derailed for months, not because of weed, not because of alcohol, but I mentally have been struggling, not depression, but struggling as a businessman. Like, I'm just not motivated at all. Not motivated to get in here and work in the studio. I love playing live, so I'm always motivated to do that, like rehearsals,
yeah.
shows, all of that. But doing the other stuff, I really haven't been motivated. Haven't been motivated physically to work out. And so Rewire mindset. My next one that I have to start reading today, which I can't find, is my book Atomic Habits. And have you read that one?
I have. It's been a while, but yeah,
It's such a good book, and I want to
it
read it
is.
again. I have it on my phone, but I like the book thing. But my point is that, like you said, even if someone's listening right now and they're stuck, or what was the word you used?
Um, yeah, I mean, I don't remember, but derailed, you know?
Yeah, derailed. That's the one you used. Even if you're there, dude, just read some books, listen to some podcasts, learn from other people's mistakes, learn
Yeah.
from other people's successes. Actually, I'd like to point out, I don't think I've ever met someone that said, I really wish I didn't change to from being from drinking to sober.
Neither have
Anyone that
I.
I know that has decided to be sober is completely happy with that decision. So if you're thinking about it, just give it a try, because
Go for
everyone,
it.
maybe when you're 14 or 13 or 21 or 25 and you need that liquid courage to go talk to that chick. But listen, dude, if you or that person, if you, female, male, or them, they, if if you're done with that chapter of your life, just put away the alcohol. You just
Yeah,
don't need it. You
you
just
don't.
don't. Trust
You
me, you
don't.
don't.
Especially if you're asking yourself, maybe I'd like to go without it. So
Yeah.
I
If
hear
you're
you.
asking yourself, absolutely, you've got the endorsements of two people here, one that's never had alcohol and one that quit 20 years ago. Do it. Just try it.
I love it. I have this, sort of mentor friend of mine. He does life coaching, and I'm, involved in his mindset sort of academy community, Jason Dries. And what he says basically, when entrepreneurs are feeling burnt out, it's more just because we need rest. We need rest, or we need meditation. We need food. And so I think that, sometimes it's totally okay just to have like, dude, I'm just so over it. Just take a break.
I couldn't agree more. And the way that I do it is I work my ass off in the studio, and my goal is 200 songs a year. I have very high goals for
Whoa,
myself,
that
and
is.
I work very, very hard. So when my body tells me, hey, maybe take it easy for a little, I take it easy. I listen to my body. I do exactly what you just said.
That's
That
awesome.
being said, it's been a little too long. Like, I'm like, okay, it's time to get back, and my wheels are not. So I'm doing things right now to try and get things going again.
You know
Mentally,
where you're
I
at.
just need it mentally.
Gotcha. Love it. Yeah. Let me ask you this. Do you mind sharing with us one of your, favorite successes that you either solely created or were just a part of?
I mean, I think. Listen, I love playing with Smash Mouth, but I have to give credit to the Enrique camp. Um, my biggest thing was, first of all, playing to 85,000 people on 30 degrees in an open. I mean, it was freezing. I could not feel my fingers. It was a
It is
great show,
freezing.
though. That was an accomplishment of a lifetime, and I think, but I think the biggest thing that they helped me out with, which I never, that was never even a thing of mine, but like, it was never a goal. I had many goals, I still do, but this was not one of them. But I actually, a few years ago, got to go play Israel. I played with him at the beginning of when I joined. We did a few shows in Israel. It was great. The family's there and everything. It was a big deal.
Yeah.
But I think the other show that I played with him a few years ago, I think it was 2017, I played Hayalkon Park with him, and that was, I want to say, 42,000 people. So coming back, thanks to them, not something I created. Coming back and being able to do that was amazing. Just an incredible feeling, and it was a good show. Unfortunately, the GoPro didn't work and it didn't get it, but that's okay. That's
Did
okay.
you have it on your guitar facing you, or
No,
was it?
that one was behind me for
Okay.
that. So, yeah, and
Bummer.
I was trying to get it to work, and it was time to go up on stage and rock 42,000 people. So that wasn't happening. I was
Priorities, right?
like, there are more important things right now. But
Yeah.
that was a big one.
That's so cool. I mean, it had to be like talk about rush, endorphin rush, just like natural high, euphoria. I mean, how was that?
It was amazing. I thought I would be a little more scared than I was. But listen, I don't know how you've done 400 people shows. Um, maybe you can relate to this. Maybe not. I don't know how many friends you had in those shows, but when I play shows where no one in the audience knows me, I am much more free to be a rock star. Like I can be whoever I want. They don't know me. But when there are people that know me intimately, whether it's my wife or my family in Israel, my brothers, they're the extended family, when people like that are watching me, it's more intimidating. It's a lot more intimidating
Mhm.
because they know me. They really do. They know my fears. They know my what I wanted with the goals, and but for some reason, I wasn't scared. It was actually a really fun show, and I had a great time.
Yeah, that's so cool. And I can relate to that. It's interesting with especially if it's a family member, right? So let me ask you this. For me, what one thing that I realized is that through practice, and then doing shows, every show is actually a practice, but the more you practice, it makes it become second nature. So as soon as like the drummers clicking the sticks or whatever, then you can just let it go. Is that kind of, would you say that's pretty accurate or?
Yes and no. Yes, that's accurate. I'm not like that. I am an analyzer. So as I'm playing, I'm analyzing my in-ear mix. I'm analyzing what's going on. I'm analyzing what Enrique is doing or what we're doing with Smash Mouth, all the guys, the musicians, what's going on with the crowd. I'm always analyzing. I'm analyzing what I'm doing. I didn't hit that note like I wanted to. I better do it better tomorrow. That's something I want to work on at home. This is going in my mind as you see me go, I'm thinking to
Right.
myself, I really have to learn that part again. I really didn't. I haven't played that in a month. That's not going to work. So, but you don't know this. When you're watching me, you're just thinking, oh, that guy's having a blast up there.
Yeah,
But in
they
my
never
mind,
catch it, right? So yeah.
no, never, because I'm showing them a specific face that I want to, and that's a specific side of my personality. I am having a great time right then and there. However, I'm also analyzing a bunch of stuff and thinking how I could do it better next time. And for musicians that might be watching this, one of my things is yes, second nature, but at the same time, like I said, no, not really. Every show that I play, I always run the whole set before that day. The reason is, no, I never take for granted the fact that I got this. No, you don't got this. Okay, you thought you've got this, and you thought you had something, and then in the middle of the show, you're just like, how does that bridge go? Fuck, 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 fuck. You know, of course, again,
Never
you're not
want
going to
that.
know this if you're watching me. You're not going to know that I'm thinking these things, but to avoid that, I absolutely go over the set the day of. I want to make sure that when I get on stage that night, everything's as fresh as can be. There's not like, what was that? I remember we played it 3 weeks ago, but we haven't done this song in like months. Like, what? How did that is not something I want to be thinking on stage in front of thousands of people.
Yeah. No,
So
I hear you.
yeah, so as a businessman, as a musician, I always make sure to go over everything before the show.
Don't
And
take
take,
your opportunities for granted.
yes, and take that and use it in any way possible in your business because yes, for instance, this dude, Brian Keene, Rewire Mindset, incredible athlete. One of the things that he did was I don't remember the names, but it's 6 marathons in a row in the desert in I want to say Africa. It's a
That's
crazy. I don't
crazy.
remember, like 237 kilometers or something like that. And he killed that. And then there was another one that he did where he ran. I want to say ran the Arctic Circle. Like he basically ran it. Insane,
It's unbelievable. Like it's like inhuman, you
crazy,
know?
crazy. But he tells it in his own way. But between those, there was a marathon that he did. Was it a marathon? It was an ultra marathon. So I think it's double.
Okay.
Um, and he says he failed that one. He ran. He made a mistake in a turn. They told him he had to check in with a place. They're like, "Oh, you're in the wrong place. You're supposed to be there. You have to run back 10 kilometers and then take that." And he was just like, "You know what? I'm good. I'm done." But later on, he did stuff. He did something that I've done to myself before, and just kicked himself in the ass and said, "What the hell was that, man? How could you? Oh, just because you ran these six marathons in a row, you think you know how it? No, you have to prepare. You
Hmm.
can't just say, "Oh, well, a year ago I ran 6 marathons. I'm good." You need to prepare for this. Like
Yeah.
he was also not prepared. It was raining. He thought he was going into a much different weather. He did not prepare for it. He admits, and he paid the price. And what he learned from it was what you said. You can't take anything for granted. And when I get on stage, no matter how many times I've played All Star, trust me, when you see me on stage that night, I've played it already at least once that day. No matter how many, I could play it 10,000 times in my lifetime, I will still be playing it that day before I get on stage, as well as all the other songs, because I want it fresh. I want to be prepared. I want to be prepared for the moment that everything on stage breaks down. Murphy's Law, worst case scenario. Oh shit, like everything's broken down. I'm still going to be playing perfectly
Yeah,
because I
man.
prepared for it. That's it.
Which is why you play for Smash Mouth.
Smash Mouth, Enrique, and who
Right.
knows, man. Fingers
Yeah, who
crossed.
knows? The sky's the limit, right?
I'm always looking. My goal is Foo Fighters, but
There you go.
not expecting that. But that would be incredible.
Yeah, yeah. No, I love it, man. That would be great. It's good, good goal. Let me ask this. Would you mind telling us, about some of the incredibly difficult experiences that you've walked through and what you learned from them?
One of them is what I just mentioned. The way I had learned that was I went to a rehearsal. I thought, I got this. I didn't got this. I didn't have it. So I learned. I spent the rest of the drive home after rehearsal. I drove home and was just yelling at myself the whole time in the car, like, "Who the fuck do you think you are? Walking in there like you?" I was just really mad. That was a painful one that I learned. I'm trying to think on a business level. Don't burn any bridges is a big one if you can
Mm,
help it. I don't
hmm.
think I don't think I can give an example for that,
Yeah.
but I'm sure there are many. Um,
That's okay. And you know what I wanted to say, and this talks about or speaks to Brian Keene in the marathon as well as that rehearsal that you had that one day. This is an area in life where ego can really, cut us at the Achilles heel or whatever. Um, and trust me, it's so funny because you don't have to even be like a highly skilled anything person at anything. um, you can just be egotistical and it's not helping. And I'm speaking, this is from my experience. I have messed up so many friendships and so many scenarios,
well, we
all
all
because, yeah, thank you. I think it's a human thing, but it's an interesting beast to sort of like, circumvent or be aware of and not allow it to cause issues.
Well, I mentioned it before. Learn from other people's mistakes
Yeah.
and learn from your mistakes. It's as simple as that. Like, be open to criticism, constructive criticism, be open to feedback, even that if that constructive criticism or feedback is coming from you. Just
Which is,
learn. Yeah,
yeah, if you can get constructive, and I think that's huge, man, because we're spending the most time with ourselves. We have an inner knowing, and if we are willing to learn from ourselves, what a great gift.
absolutely.
I love it.
Absolutely.
Let me just shift the conversation a little bit and ask you this: if you were sent back in time to age 18, how would you fast track your success?
I think about that often. It's not a question I get asked often, but I think about that often. And I don't think I would change anything, man. I'm trying to think because you didn't say what would you do different. You said how would you fast track it. Uh, I don't know. I mean, I'm trying to think because everything I did was preparing me for the moments where I was there. How would I fast track it? I guess knowing what I know now, I would have made a website sooner, a calling card. Um, I would have learned. I want to say I would have learned how to write and produce sooner, but all it would have. I mean, I was doing it as soon as I
You
landed. I was starting to
you were
work with artists and learn how to produce and put things together. And slowly but surely, I got that. And then in 2006, I got into writing. I don't know. I don't think I would have changed anything.
Yeah, that's great. When you did get into writing, was there some, classes that you went through, or you sort of just said, "Hey, I'm going to start doing this, and this is the idea. Now I'm going to bring it to market," sort of thing?
My class was the class of life. Just going out there and experience things with other writers, and find where I shine, find where I'm absolutely horrible at things, find people that compliment me and I compliment them. That's how I learned, whether it's in business, whether it's in music or writing songs or fitness, even. I try to find people that compliment me as much as I compliment them.
Yeah, no, that's great. Yeah, awesome. I was going to say earlier, learn from other people's mistakes, and I just didn't want to gloss over it because that's huge. It's valuable. Literally, if I would have learned from my dad's, mistakes, I would have been light years ahead of where I was just in my early 20s, even, right? So it's a huge thing.
Yeah, that's
And
interesting. I'm trying to think if my success would have been streamlined or faster had I learned from some other people's mistakes, but I don't. No, yeah, I learned
yeah,
from people's mistakes.
yeah,
That's how I got to be at the level that I am. That's
yeah,
it. I've learned from people's mistakes, but let's not forget learn from their success as well. I'm looking at Rewire Your Mindset here. I read books to learn how to get better because there are some people that already did it. Same as I do for musicians. Yesterday I was on a Zoom call with a guy from Israel, guitarist, came to Nashville, hit me up on Instagram, listened to a podcast, and saw some stuff on YouTube. Wanted to know if we could chat. Absolutely, yeah. Let's have a conversation. He's going to do great. I mean, his mindset is perfect for it.
it's
But he's
awesome.
learned a lot from looking at other people's mistakes, and he's learned a lot. Um, he told me all these different things that he learned from listening to me do these podcasts, a few other musicians, and he really learned from people's successes and their mistakes. And sometimes, I'll give you an example, sometimes it's neither. It's not a success or a failure. Sometimes, like he was saying, that he learned it from this very, very famous um, Israeli drummer, actually, Nir Z. He's played with Genesis. I, I don't want to misspeak about who he's played with, but he's done
Yeah,
some huge gigs.
it's awesome.
And he said he listened to a podcast with him, and that gentleman mentioned that when he got to Nashville, doesn't matter who he played with, he had to earn his stripes.
Mm,
So he said, get in there, earn your stripes, earn your living, and if you have to do some things that are like, there's nothing beneath you. Just get in there and get working.
yeah,
And he picked that up from him. So perfect example of a guy that has a great mindset on him. I told him, by the way, if you continue doing what you're doing, I said this to him, if you continue what you're doing and continue thinking the way you're thinking, I guarantee you 100% you will succeed. It's not an if, it's just a when. I guarantee it. 100%. And his mind was learn from other people's mistakes and listen to things that they say as to how to succeed.
yeah.
It's it's key, man. That and luck,
Right. Yeah,
right?
yeah, you gotta have some luck. Yeah, I was gonna say, what a great gift that you gave this young man. I mean, this is,
Well, he had it already, but it was
yeah,
an honor. And I actually hit the gentleman up, Craig, uh, from I want to say it was Everybody Loves Guitar podcast. And I hit him up. I texted him. I said, "Hey, man, just so you know, this guy contacted me. He learned so much from the conversation that we had together. And look at what we made happen. We together with some other people, and not taking sole responsibility for it, but we were part of this young man changing his life for the better. And
Yeah.
I'm so happy. That's why I did the podcast. That's why I do these. That's why I'm on YouTube. I'm just trying to help the next generation. That's it. Because
Yeah.
a
It's
lot of
great.
people helped me, by the way. So I just want to pass it on.
No man's an island.
Exactly.
And, I wanted to say, like you were saying, is we can learn from people's mistakes and we can also learn from people's advice. And that's really what I meant with my dad is he had gave me a lot of advice. I just didn't listen to a lot of it, and, but, I think, it is a great gift that you gave that young man by telling him, hey, 100% you were going to succeed. Cause the power of suggestion, it is, I mean, so powerful. I'm reading this book, You Are the Placebo by Dr. Joe Dispenza.
Well, I
And
know him from,
it,
I want to say from The Secret. Uh,
okay. Yeah.
you are the placebo.
Yeah, it's fun. It's such a cool book because he's just going over all these different studies about placebos and people healing themselves through their mind and his whole experience. But awesome.
Oh no,
Um,
he's in something else. I'm seeing his face now. There's somewhere else that I know him from. But yeah, absolutely, power of the mind.
yeah, it's huge. What are your thoughts on mindset and how to go from like a non-success mindset or scarcity mindset to a successful mindset?
Very simply put, educate yourself on the successes that other people have experienced. You can do it through books, audiobooks, podcasts. Just that's the way I'm doing it right now. That's the way I've done it in the past, and that's what I would recommend to anyone. If you want to get in a good mindset, listen to people that have been successful that are literally giving you on a podcast for free or buy a book and they're giving you the recipe. Like just follow them. Read a bunch of books, listen to a bunch of podcasts of people you respect and just follow what they're saying. They're probably going to lead you 80% of the way there mentally.
Yeah, huge, which is most of it, right?
Yeah.
That's great. Great advice. I thousand percent, agree. Now, if there was one key or a key that unlocked or helped to unlock success in your life, what would you say that key is besides
Networking.
the guitar?
Yeah, networking. I think that's
Networking.
everything. And when I say networking, I mean relationships. I don't mean, I call it organic networking, where, and I emphasize to people that listen to me, they know that I say this get into a relationship with someone for what you can do for them. When you meet someone, try and figure out what you can do for them rather than like, oh, he plays with, like, let's say I met someone that plays with the Foo Fighters. I still would like to think that my goal would be like, how can I help this gentleman with something that he's experiencing in his life that he might need some help with, rather than maybe he can get me to play with the Foo Fighters. It's like the good stuff will come, man. Just you worry about adding benefit and value to the world and to people. So when I say networking, I said networking, but I really mean relationships. I could not, I would not be where I am without relationships.
Go giver mentality. Such a brilliant piece of advice right there. Networking typically is sounds kind of cold. It sounds also like entering into these relationships as a taker,
Right.
where I think that again, such brilliant advice right there. So I
And
love
I
that.
guarantee you I learned it from reading a book or listening to a podcast. I didn't come up with this. This is nothing new. I'm just following what other people said. And it comes naturally to me. I love talking to people, man. I love it. You hit
Is it
me up. You actually hit me
out
up.
of the blue? I did.
Blue on a completely different. You hit me up because you wanted to. You signed up to my like course,
Yeah.
and I got the email like, "Hey, this gentleman signed up," and I was like, "Hey, man, um, I'm not really doing that right now. Like, it was something that we were putting together, but we decided to not do it right now. But if I can help you with anything else, let me know." And here we are.
Yeah, and that was, it's great that you actually responded, because a lot of people wouldn't, right? And I knew right away from just the email that I was actually talking to you, and it wasn't a canned email sort of thing.
Right.
I wanted to ask you because we're talking about relationships. In my opinion, you actually care about people a lot. What would you say that's accurate?
Oh, 100%. Yes.
Yeah, it's great, man. And it shows. It really does. And so it's it's huge.
They're also fascinating to me. Everyone's got a story. You've got a story. I've got a story. My wife's got a story. The 22-year-old dude that's right in front of me at some show in Russia has like, dude, he's got an amazing story. I guarantee you he's
Guarantee it.
got an amazing
Yeah.
story. Just because I don't know it, that's just an opportunity for me to approach that person and talk to them about it and learn. And I'll tell you another thing, man. I take the opportunity to learn from anyone and everyone. I don't care if you're 2 years old or 100 years old. There is something for me to learn. And that guy, that 22-year-old that's standing in front of me, who doesn't even care, he's not even looking at me. He's completely into Enrique Iglesias. He's just like, I'm right here, and he's just like this the whole time. I'm telling you, that dude has a great story. And if
Guarantee
I
indeed.
want to take the time to learn about that story, then that's only going to benefit me. I look at that as something that's going to help me.
Amen. I think that it's awesome, super sound advice, and people love to tell their story. And every single one of us could write a book. And if it was, you kind of touched on it earlier with the music in the business, it's like the widget and the marketing. And it's very important to have the like so like a lot of people have great ideas on a product that I had an idea for an electric snowboard. Like there's electric mountain boards, right?
Yeah.
And these things are awesome, and an electric snowboard would be killer. And that'd be awesome if you spent $1 million on designing it.
Oh, you mean you said mountain board? I think you said electric mountain bikes.
No, mountain boards, they're
Board,
like,
mountain board.
yeah, you got to check them out. You have to check them out. Like so actually mountain boards came out non-electric the first time, I mean 95 or something like that. You could downhill on them.
Oh, with the wheels. Okay,
Yeah.
gotcha. Yeah, I've seen people. I've seen people skateboard on these basically.
Yeah, yeah, but they have electric powered ones now that are awesome. They're fairly affordable, like $800, and they do like 25 miles an hour, on flat ground. Is so. Anyways, my point is, if I spend $1 million on this electric snowboard, right? But I don't spend any money on the marketing, or I don't understand it. Don't reach out for help. It's not going to go anywhere most likely. So I
Unless then you're leaving it completely up to luck. And
yeah, unless luck comes in.
as a businessman, you don't leave things up to luck. You do everything you can to propel your business forward, whatever it may be. I mean, I hope so.
Yeah, you should, right? So I think what you've got going on, which is great, is you have business, you have personality, relationships, and the music skills. Sound engineering and songwriting, which is super cool. 200 songs a year, unbelievable. That is churning them out. Um, do you mind sharing with us one book recommendation and one tech recommendation?
Well, I've already done the books. There's the
Yeah,
Rewire Your Brain, I think it was, and Atomic Habits is great. I'm about to read it again because it's a really good one.
I'll read that again too. So yeah, it's been a
Super
while.
powerful. And then what else?
One tech recommendation. It could be a pedal or
Um,
whatever you want it.
a good tech recommendation. For the guitarists out there, get a Shabbat guitar or
Love it.
check it out. They're really amazing, amazing guitars. Yeah, I think well, the tech recommendation,
And
know your
Shabbat's made in California, right?
California. Yeah,
Right.
Avishai Shabbat is my friend from Jerusalem. Like we were there together. We used to work together in sound engineering. He worked in a we both worked sound engineering there.
How cool.
And I think on a tech, it's not that I have a specific piece of gear in mind other than Shabbat guitars. I would say know your gear is something that really picked up on lately from mixing engineers is like really know your gear, whether it's out of the box, meaning physical, what I'm looking at right now, or in the box, in the computer, plugins. Play around with that stuff, know your gear, do the research, get on YouTube, whatever way you choose to figure it out. Know your gear, yeah, in general.
Yeah, it's important. Yeah. Love it. Last question is, how can our audience support you? Is there any way that they can, where they can buy your music? I will put the links to the YouTube channel as well as your website in the show notes, but any love that they could send your way.
Thank you. Really, there's nothing that I'm selling really. If you want to listen to some of my music, it's on Spotify, Sean Hurwitz, or again, just go to seanhurwitz.com. You'll find all these links. If you want to sign up for a course that I'm going to do in the future, um, just go on any of my YouTube links and you'll see it there, just like you did.
Yeah.
And I guess the only way they could help is possibly subscribe to YouTube if they think that something is cool. Give it a thumbs up, sub to it, and maybe one day I'll see a couple of dollars from it. I guess that's really the only way to support. Other than that, come to shows, man. Come say hi. That's the biggest support. Forget the financial thing. Come to shows. Tell me you're coming to shows. Hit me up on Twitter. Hit me up on Instagram. Tell me you're going to be at the show. I want to meet you. It's a little hard during COVID. It's one of the hardest things right now for me.
Frustrating.
Is like I can't go talk to people because I usually would just head down to the off stage and just give people guitar picks that I printed to give them. I printed these guitar picks out. I paid for them to give them to people as souvenirs with the Smash
Awesome.
logo and everything. I can't even do that. You just kind of have to throw it to them.
Right.
But tell me you're going to be there, and if because I'd love to meet you, whoever you are. You
Yeah,
could
man.
be a 15-year-old aspiring musician. You could be a 68-year-old professional exec that has a lot to talk about when it comes to business. I don't care. I'm interested.
Yeah, that's great. I love that. You're making me want to do shows again. Um, how can our audience connect with you? I guess probably do you have like a Instagram or whatever's best for you?
I think the easiest way to get to me is through Instagram. It's just Sean H Music. Again, everything's on the website. But if you Google Sean Hurwitz Smash Mouth, you'll find everything anyway. Or guitarist Smash Mouth. But yeah, Instagram is usually the easiest when it comes to just personally hitting me up. You can absolutely, on a business level, I usually tell people to just email me because then I'll actually 100% see it. I can say, oh, that looks important, snooze for later, and then it'll pop up and I'll get back to you. But either way, I'm getting back to you. Whether it's Instagram or email, I think those are the two best ways to reach out to me.
Yeah, that's awesome, and I can validate that he will get back to you as he did to me, and so 1,000 times over, Sean, thank you so much for joining me on this show. I know we went over by twice, and so I really appreciate you.
My bad.
Not at all. No, I like I said, we could go on for hours. Literally, I'll just pick your brain, but I don't want to be selfish, right? Or that selfish, anyways. But is there anything else that you want to share with us or share with the audience before we jump out of here?
If you think that I can be of help to you, if you think Doug can be of help to you, reach out to him, reach out to me. I think I speak for you, right?
Absolutely.
You look like you have that kind of vibe. Yeah, please don't think, oh, he's not going to get back. Just hit me up. Try me. I'm happy to help you.
All right. All right. Well, thanks again, Sean, for being on here with us for the Gentle Art of Crushing It show. And for today, that's going to be it. And we are going to say sayonara. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Another episode of The Gentle Art of Crushing It. It was an amazing episode. I know I sure learned a lot. I hope you did as well. I want to take a second and just thank you so much for viewing or listening to this episode. And please just know that I only ask you for one favor, and that is to make this life magnificent. Thank you and have a wonderful day.